Let the ritual begin. Or maybe not in this case. Well, about this book, I like at the beginning the chapter about philosophy of the author and her opinion about Norse paganism in modern world. I really like her attitude because I have the same opinion about this. That we should use ancient sources, but we need to live in our modern world. Yeah, that's really good. But when it comes to practice, there are good exercises in the book. 1 or 2 are good. The 9 exercises in the book together are really not good collection. Not at all. Like first 2 or 3 are really good. The rest, not so much. The book actually would profit from having way more exercises. Like for example, when it comes to chapter about magic, the author speaks about runelore, geldre, seidre, and other form of Norse practice, but there's only 1 exercise. There really should be more. This was really poor, which is really sad because I really like the idea that every chapter ends with an exercise. However, not even all exercises are spiritual. The last one about building a community has nothing to do with spirituality, which can become really confusing. Now, mentioning the runes, I think that the systems that are presented in this book seem to be the best piece of spiritual practice that the author offers. The bind runes, on the other hand, not so much. I really hate that author mixes her own bind runes with 2 bind runes that are known to spiritual lore of the Norse pagan of the past. But there are more ancient runes. There's no need to add her own and to use them as one coherent whole. No, that was a bad idea. And now to the worst part. The author, when starting about the practice, makes some basic information about the gods. And here it is a real tragedy. I mean, the attempt is really good. I like it. But I'll confess I don't know all the gods deeply. I don't. But those I knew, when I read the description, in every single description there was at least 1 important mistake or something that is not really in the lore. So even as source of information for practice, this was miserable. How many points should I give such a book? The rune lore is the only good part, maybe about the poetry. I'm giving 3 points. Let's get down to business. Here I must return back to the poor descriptions of the gods. This is actually really important stuff to have. When you do practice, it's really bad to have bad information. When you want to communicate with others and build your reputation and make sure you communicate the same thing, to have wrong information is just as terrible. Now, the last part of the book speaks about building, maintaining and keeping in contact with Norse pagan groups or pagan groups in general. How to find a good group for you, how to find which group is friendly or toxic. I think that is the part where the author knows the most information. She is the most knowledgeable about this. And not even here she's an expert, or he, I don't know. Another fact about this information is I don't know if it was clever to be so specific as the author was, because the names of the groups, their symbols, some of them might already be pretty outdated, and the rest will probably follow. I think the author should have studied more of cult dangers and psychology when speaking about how to discern good or bad group, instead of naming specific groups. This could have been done better. Because the practical part, the Acolyte, is actually rather useless, here, I must say, here it is better. It is little better when it comes to business, at least when it comes to forming the groups, but the book doesn't give a good base on what to create your groups on. So this is the best opinion on the book, but it still could be done much better. However, the groups and their workings are described well, and that is at least partially useful data. I'm giving 4 points for the groups. To the beauty of the books, hail! I like this book, at least on the first sight. On the second one, well, I must hit the brake. The cover is, on the first sight, really beautiful. The two ravens, the two birds, excellent Norse pagan theme. But when I take a look at the runes that are added to the cover for effect, those are not Norse runes or symbols or what it is. I think it is American symbolism, but it is not Norse pagan. While I do not have any issue with that, not at all, I like this, it's nice art. I don't think it should be present on a book that is about Norse paganism. So this was rather confusing. And it also raises a question about how much the author is really knowledgeable about Norse paganism. Also, I must say I noticed that every chapter begins with graphically enhanced page. That is very beautiful and I must say effective, because even when you look at the closed books, you notice where each chapter begins and it allows you to search them fast. I like that. Also, the book, of course, includes bibliography and index. Index is very useful when you want to make a book that is used as a textbook for study. That's good. The sources that are included in the book, I like that they are there. I like that there are many quotations, there are informations. I like that you can search the books that author has used, which allows further study. That is good. That I really appreciate. The cover on this book is rather weakness, although it is beautiful. And the book is soft cover. I'm not sure. I never really like soft covers, but what the heck, this one is good. The back of the book looks really nice and clean. While the contents of the book are not so good, the editor and graphic designer did really good work. For that, I'm giving 6 points. And now for the invocation. Let me say it this way, I found this book by an accident, as I was searching for good sources on Norse paganism. Needless to say that this one was really not that good source. However, I was looking especially for practical stuff, and when it comes to practice, the 3 exercises, the first ones that I tried from this book, well, they didn't harm me, they were really good, they worked. It is actually pretty funny that when you realize that these beginners exercises, they work, no matter what system do you use. Now that I had to reread this book for this video, I've realized how much I have grown, and I realized that I am far beyond what this author can give me, and that was actually pretty sad. I think that this book is not good for those who want to learn about Norse paganism. Especially, I am actually not happy about how big part of the book is about building the groups, maintaining the groups, managing the groups, working in the groups, finding them, and so on and so on. How to find which groups are good or bad. No, that was not a good idea. I think the author tried too much to put into this book everything. It would be better if it was concentrated on only personal worship, on only personal beginner's stuff. The book has 2 huge errors that I must note. The first one is that the oath is very important for Norse pagans. Please, no! No! The oath is not core belief of Norse pagans. When you make an oath is very important for us in meaning that when you swear an oath, you better keep it. But the author forgot another fact about the oath. It is wiser to never give an oath, unless you really mean it. You don't have to make an oath to be a Norse pagan. You don't have to make an oath to work with the gods. No. Never make an oath to a god you don't know that you know for a week. That's insane. That's a very big mistake in this book. So please, don't start your practice with making an oath. No. Second issue, this time on a lighter note, and I believe it shows how the author of the book is really educated, or at least how the author checks or think in larger picture, is the pine cones. This is a little funny actually, because the author speaks about American pines that are facing a lot of wildfires, so they adapted their multiplying system, their cones, that they need fire to open their cones and spread the seeds so that new pines can grow. This works in specific parts of America, but not in Europe, not in Scandinavia. Our pines, European pines, are not facing so many wildfires. They rarely face a wildfire. Our pines multiply the way that the cone grows on the tree, and when it is ready to spread, it just stays there, and when it dries from the sun and the heat, it simply opens and the seeds fly away by the wind. So it is very different from what the author says. When I checked the sources, yeah, there was a source. I didn't read the source, what it said, but at least I know that the author noted that she has it from somewhere, and no, it was wrongly done. I think that I maybe shouldn't have bought this book at all. But I do not regret it that too much, because if nothing else, this book is a really nice testament of someone's personal gnosis. And if we take it as personal gnosis and her own personal opinion, then the book is fine. but I don't think that the book deserves too much. As a personal gnosis, I will respect it. As a book to teach me something, I will not. So here I am really on 50-50 point. So I will give 50-50, 5 points. While this book is beautiful and alluring, it is a book that is very specific. If you seek to learn about other personal gnosis, the opinions of other people, then it is really good to read. It's a really nice book that is worth reading. But if you are the person that is a beginner in Norse paganism, you want to learn more, you want some information, then my recommendation is to leave this book on the shelf and look for something else. Thank you for your time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to like, dislike and subscribe. Go in peace and guard your heart well.